Chinese child soldiers during World War II, 1940. The Lincoln Memorial under construction, 1921. A 60-year-old British soldier lifts 500 pounds of man and steel, 1941. Queen Elizabeth II, moments before Marcus Sargent fires 6 blank shots at her in 1981. In 1971, community and civil rights activist Ann Atwater was forced to work alongside Ku Klux Klan leader C.P. Ellis in Durham, North Carolina. By the end of their 10-day meetings, Ellis renounced the Klan and spent the rest of his life fighting for equality. Tupac's grandparents on his father's side. He looks like his beautiful grandmother. Princess Sophia Duleep Singh was selling subscriptions for the suffragette newspaper outside Hampton Court in London in 1913. Mamie Prater, photographed in 1920, she was 115 years old. This is a Suzuki Samurai advertisement. It's from Ventura, California, and it's from 1987. Female fighters from the Irish Republican Army, Ireland, 1971. Liverpool Alleys and Passageways, 1907. A medical officer of health report was measuring the width of passageways. Return of the Jedi from 1982. Japanese diplomats are arriving on the battleship Missouri to sign Japan's surrender World War II. The Game Boy Color came out in the 1990s. A Boy Scout asked for Huey Long's autograph in 1934. Long was possibly getting ready to run against Franklin Delano Roosevelt in the 1936 election. He was shot at the Louisiana State Capitol in Baton Rouge on September 8, 1935, and died 2 days later. Kate Winslet, 1996. Daniel Day-Lewis, the 1990s. Halle Berry, 1998. Kelly Martin at the 50th Primetime Emmy Awards, 1998. In 1985, the infamous Action Park in New Jersey built this water slide with this kind of loop at the end. It was only open for 1 month before shutting down due to many injuries. Highway of Death, the result of American forces bombing retreating Iraqi forces in Kuwait, 1991. Camille Janazzi is driving his self-designed electric car near Paris, France. He was the first person to exceed 100 km per hour, which is 62 miles per hour in a car. This was in 1899. Dorothy Lawrence was being arrested after pretending to be a male soldier on the front lines for 10 days during World War I in 1915. She was sent home with a strict agreement not to write about her experiences, but after the war she published a memoir. President Jimmy Carter is with Olusegun Obasanjo, the leader of Nigeria, in 1977. Paddy Coyle, who was 13 years old during the Battle of Bogside in 1969. It's a feminist suffrage parade in New York City, 1912. Children Dance, New York, 1977. A woman is walking her dogs in 1922. Rowan Atkinson during his electrical engineering days at Newcastle University, 1972. Mexican Mazatec spiritual mushroom healer Maria Sabina. This is a picture of a Tlingit shaman binding a witch in Sitka, Alaska. The shaman is wearing a ceremonial robe and headdress. He's holding a rope and he's in the process of tying up the witch. The witch is on the ground and appears to be struggling. There are other people present observing the event. Here's what the New York City subway looked like in 1961. Honestly, it doesn't look as different as I would have expected. Fritz Lang on the set of Metropolis, 1926. A glass worker is carrying a tube of rolled glass. This is at Pilkington Glass Lultee of St Helens, Lancashire in 1918. Here's what I have, Uma Thurman in the 90s. There are rows of iron lungs with polio patients at the Ranchos Los Amigos Respiratory Center in Los Angeles. This was during the 1950s. On September 20th, 1973, in a highly publicised Battle of the Sexes tennis match, top women's player Billie Jean King, 29, beats Bobby Riggs, 55, a former number 1 ranked men's player. Tom Gledhill makes a motorcycle jump over a line of more than 20 Royal Artillerymen in 1966, reaching speeds of 45 miles per hour. It's about female bricklayers in Britain after the war was declared in 1914. President Bill Clinton and Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat are opening Gaza International Airport in Rafah in 1999. They Say We Are Pigs. It's a 1958 Soviet anti-alcohol poster. Linda Carter as a blonde in 1975's The New Original Wonder Woman. Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh at the premiere of Super Cop 1992. Freddie Mercury, also known as Farrokh Bulsara, was in Bombay, India in 1958. Marilyn Monroe surrounded by fan mail in 1955. There was a beauty pageant in communist Hungary in 1985. Brigitte Bardot and her 1969 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. St Paul's Cathedral in London, England. It was built from 1675 to 1710. A cat, the mascot of the HMS Queen Elizabeth, walks along the barrel of a 15-inch gun on deck in 1915. Claudia Schiffer, Marrakesh, 1989. Alfred Hitchcock and the Crew of the Birds, 1963. At the Boston Trade School for Girls, young girls are drawing. It looks like they are selling Christmas gifts around 1910. On October 26, 1988, Soviet sailors performed a heroic act, rescuing a family of whales trapped in ice off the coast of Alaska. A United States Marine is smiling while reading his mail in a foxhole on Iwo Jima in 1945. Well-dressed visitors are at the Leshan Giant Buddha, a 233-foot-tall stone statue. It was built between 713 and 803 during the Tang Dynasty. They're resting on the Buddha's toes in Sichuan, China. This was in May 1991, the first television broadcast of a football, or soccer, match in the Netherlands. It was PSV versus FC Eindhoven. The date was September 10th, 1950. It was taken during the filming of King Kong 1933. Marines with 3 M23 and 124 training aids at Camp Pendleton, October 1956. Atom-blasted seeds, a souvenir from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, the Atomic City, 1958. Yokosuka Oka Type 11 kamikaze bomb aircraft, Japan, 1945. There's an Eskimo medicine man with a sick boy. It was in the early 1900s. Natalie Portman at the premiere of Star Wars, 1999. A saltwater crocodile was caught in the town reach of the Johnston River in Innisfail, Australia in 1903. Alfred Hitchcock on the set of Frenzy, 1972. Sharon Stone as Ginger McKenna in Martin Scorsese's Casino, 1995. American soldiers are listening to Sunday service in the ruins of Coventry Cathedral, England in 1945. Samuel L. Jackson in the 1960s. Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise were at the Eyes Wide Shut premiere in 1999. NATO bombs read Happy Easter during the bombing of Yugoslavia on March 24, 1999. An unusual American car, it was adapted from the fuselage of a light aircraft. The year was 1948. Jane Mansfield from the 1950s. September 3rd, 1956. Tanks are deployed against racist demonstrators in Clinton, Tennessee. A Greek woman poses for a portrait wearing all of her jewellery. Some of it looks like gold and silver. This was taken around the 1920s. It's colour by autochrome. The lighting of the Olympic flame at the 1984 Winter Olympics in Sarajevo, Yugoslavia, which is now Bosnia. August 1985, Brazil. Workers nicknamed hormigueros or ants inch their way up and down the steep face of Serra Pelada, or Naked Mountain. Ira Hayes, a Pima Native American, was hailed as a national hero after he was identified as one of the 6 Marines raising the flag on Iwo Jima in the iconic photograph. The burning remains of one of the American ships after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. Kate Winslet looking innocent in 1986. "19-year-old John Lennon, 1959. John and Jim Belushi, that's in the 80s. bishop from the Kananaya community. This is an ancient Syriac Christian ethnic group from southern India. This is from the early 20th century. Princess Diana and Barbara Bush, the First Lady of the United States, were in the Yellow Oval Room in 1990. The director George Roy Hill is explaining to Robert Redford and Paul Newman the look he wanted for the big scene in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid from 1969. There are a couple of Spanish women wearing traditional clothing. It's from around the 1900s. The photo isn't colorized, it's an autochrome lumiere. Debbie Harry, who was 23 years old in 1968. A portable hairdryer with a cap from the 1950s. Saddam Hussein is visiting the tomb of Joseph Stalin in 1972. Jessica Chastain's yearbook photo from 1995. Eminem celebrates his 18th birthday in 1990. Christina Ricci and Jimmy Workman behind the scenes of The Addams Family, 1991. Nicolae Ceausescu and Kim Il-sung dancing the Czardas, Pyongyang, 1971. Alright, here we go. 2 Japanese race queens in the 90s. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Hugh Hefner and Wilt Chamberlain were at the Playboy Mansion in 1977. Carrie Fisher and Peter Mayhew on the set of Star Wars Episode V, The Empire Strikes Back, 1979. Robin Williams, Cannes, year 1997. Hostess Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pies. Martin Scorsese is giving instructions to Michael Jackson on the set of Bad in 1986. A demonstration of the mouse tank model for Hitler. It took place at the Wolf's Lair headquarters on May 14, 1943. Joel McHale was a tight end for the University of Washington, and they went to the Rose Bowl in 1992. Rollerbladers, California, 1970s. Japan, 1910s, a Taiyu who is a Japanese courtesan, and 2 Kamuro who are child attendants. Jane Mansfield is eating in her kitchen. It's 1955. Tokyo in the 1920s. Michael Jordan, 1984. Construction of the Manhattan Bridge in 1909. President Richard Nixon plays the piano at the Truman Library in 1969. President Franklin D. Roosevelt and Liberian President Edwin Barclay are inspecting troops. They're on an airstrip outside Monrovia, Liberia, on January 27, 1943. J.V. Stalin, the leader and teacher of mankind in the struggle for peace, democracy and socialism. East Germany, 1949. A Lady's in a Fancy Dress. It was shot in the 1910s using the autochrome process. A cache of assassination devices was handed over to West German authorities by KGB agent Nikolai Koklov in 1954. The scoreboard of Japanese planes and ships sunk is being painted on the quarterdeck bulkhead of the USS Enterprise CV-6, August 20, 1944. In 1968, Robert F. Kennedy visited Detroit just before the fatal shooting. Former United States President Ulysses S. Grant is writing his memoir on the porch of his upstate New York cottage around 1885. Mrs. Coolidge and the White House pet raccoon Rebecca in 1927. There's a famous 19th century tornado that was caught on camera in Oklahoma in 1898. Kelly LeBrock from the 1980s. Hwang Junjue, a wartime journalist. During the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1942, she chose to jump off a cliff to avoid being captured. It's a crowded scene in the high school hallways between classes in Hermiston, Oregon, in 1941. Brigitte Bardot and her second husband, Jacques Cartier, 1960. Lawrence Fishburne playing Cowboy Curtis from 86 to 91. Anti-rock music protesters attend the September 19, 1985 PMRC Senate hearing.